Hi everyone, Salesforce Integration Training Day 8. Let's see what we are going to learn today. We'll quickly go through the previous session overview and then we'll talk about the XML in Salesforce and document class. What are the predefined methods in the document class? And we will see Salesforce to other system, from other system to Salesforce, and what is how the XML file looks like. Then finally we have a trial head. So last class we have seen what is the XML, how to build the XML, right? So what is the XML start date and end date, how it looks like, everything we have seen in the last session. So XML is built in the XST schema and doc type. So it has an external doc type and internal doc type. So, but when coming to the XML in Salesforce, so it has a DOM namespace. That means DOM is the class. Within that, we have a document class, and then we have a XML node class. There are two classes which are available within the DOM class, document class and XML node class. So if I have to implement a DOM.document, I have given a some name to here equal to new DOM.document. So that's how we define in the XML. So if I go to the document class, we will go step by step. So in the document class, we have a different predefined methods are the create root element and get root element, load XML to XML string. So this is what we have seen in the last session. So syntax for this DOM.document doc equal to new DOM.document. So I'm initializing the document class here, then I'm loading the XML. Now this till this point we have seen in the last class. So today what we are going to do is from the Salesforce, we have to send XML data to the any other system. If I have to send Salesforce from the Salesforce, if I have to send the XML to the any other system, then how can we do that? So let's go ahead and implement the scenario. So let me show you first in the debug log. So from here it is XML. Okay, so let's take an example. So if you, for initializing, like if you say DOM is the class. Within the DOM, we have two classes are there. The first class is document. So we use the document and then doc equal to new DOM.document. So this is I'm initializing it. So when I initialize it, what is the output that I'll get it? System.debug. Let me show you by printing this doc. What is the output will I get? What is happens if I initialize this? If I initialize this, what will happen? So just a document is created. A document class is created at the backend. Then once it is class is created, once the class is created, what we can do is, for example, I wanted to send certain information. Let's suppose I wanted to send employee details. I wanted to send employee details or maybe account details, something I wanted to send. So in that case, what we use is we use a DOM dot. Here in this case, we use the XML node. So basically right now what I'm doing it, first the document is created. That means there is a space is created at the backend. There is a space is created at the backend. So here is the space that is created. With this space is a document space. Document space. Now within this, I want to create a main part of it. That means root. Root I wanted to create it. So in order to create that, so let me initialize some name here equal to whatever this within this space, doc dot, what I'm doing, I'm creating the root element. I'm creating the root element. So create root element. So this is the first method. This is the first method. Whatever the method that we have seen, predefined method in the document class, the first method is create root element. What I'm doing is basically I'm creating the root element. Let's say that my root element is account. Account, comma, I'll specify null, comma, null. Second, third parameter is name. Second parameter is namespace. Third parameter is prefix. If you want any prefix, right, you can add that prefix. Now let me print this root. What is the output I'm getting it? So let's highlight this, execute it. So what we are getting here, XML node, right, element, account, null, comma, null, comma, null. Like this, I'm printing it. Like this, I'm getting the output. Right, so now assume that I'm going to display this information. After that, within the account, I wanted to display another child element. So for that also we will use the DOM dot XML node. This is a child. Let's say that this is maybe root 1 equal to, let's say that root dot within the account, I wanted to add a child. So add child element. Add child element. The child element is, let's say that name. And the first and the second parameters are null. This is also expecting the 3 parameters. Now within that, I need to add a branches. So let me add the branch dom.xml, dom.xml node. Let's say this is a branch equal to whatever the root, second root is there. So root 1 dot, I'm going to add a child here also. Add child element. I'm going to add the child element within this root 1. So let's say here name, let's say Bharati. Okay, this is the information I'm printing it. Once this is done, this is what I'm doing is basically I'm building the XML step by step, how my structure should be look like. I'm building this information. Now finally what I done is, now here let me add here, this is the account, let's say that this is the Salesforce and this is account, and here I'll add a child called name. Now for this name, I'll add a text. That means branch dot add text. Add text node. This is also predefined. So here I'm adding the Bharati. Now once this is done, then final step is I need to build everything into string format. So whatever the XML string equal to doc dot to XML. To XML string. Now here, this entire step. Now I'll execute this and then let me explain this step by step. Now it is asking me the add child null comma null. Yes, we are adding the null comma null. Add child element ADD. Highlight this, execute it. XML string. Right, so whatever the XML string is there, I can take the XML string. Basically, I need to define this string. Highlight this, execute it. Now, if you see here debug, what it is coming, it is giving me XML node, element, Salesforce, And again, XML node, element, account, element name, then you have a node text. It doesn't give you proper information. It doesn't give you the clarity that how you're building the XML. Now what I'll do is I'll take the same information. I'll just copy this same data I'm going to display in the XML. Same data. Now if I write this data into the developer console, what is the output I'm getting? Some output I'm getting debug point, which does not give me the clarity. Now I'm going to write the same logic in the Visual Force page. That means I'll call the controller from the Visual Force page. So let's go ahead and implement the Visual Force page. Let's say that this page is, I'm implementing the VF XML. VF XML. Now this is my class name, and within this, now this class I'm going to call from the Visual Force. So if I need to call, if I'm going to call this class from the Visual Force, I need to implement a constructor, public, what are the VF underscore XML. So the same constructor, I'll be implementing it, and let's place everything here. Now let's save this. Now I'm going to call this from the Visual Force. Now I'm going to call this from the Visual Force. Now let's go ahead and see that file, new Visual Force. Let's say this is it. Let's say this is XML, outbound XML. Outbound XML. Now here in the Apex page, let's say I'm calling the controller equal to, now whatever the class name is there, I'll just specify that class name. VF underscore XML. Now within this, I'm going to call this string. Now if I'm calling this string, then this has to be declared as a public. This has to be declared as a public. Whatever this XML string is there, that XML string has to be declared here. If I'm declaring, that means if I'm calling, I'm getting the information from the, I'm getting the information from the third-party system. So for that, what I need to do is, I need to use public string XML string, then I'll say set get. Now let's save this. Now let me save the Visual Force. Click on preview. Now it is coming right now in the XML format. Let me copy this. Let's go to the Notepad++. Now whatever I am getting the output, I have just pasted in the Notepad++. The first one is a XML. Whatever the standard line is there, that is a standard line. Next, we have a Salesforce. Within the Salesforce, the subchild is account. Within that subchild is name. I'm closing the name here. Account is closed here. And then Salesforce is closed here. Okay, this is how I implemented. Now, here, this line is implemented. Now, I can say that this is basically, let's assume that we are doing the DOM.document DOC. So basically, I'm creating a space there. In order to create a space, I need to initialize this. Whatever the document class is there, the document class, I need to initialize it. Once I have done with the initialization, next I need to create a root. In order to create this root, DOM dot, we need to use the XML node. Because I'm starting to implement a node. This is my first node. So let's say that this is the first node equal to, now I'll specify here what are the DOC is the DOC dot create root element. Now go ahead and create a root element. Root element. Now what is that root element here? Root element is, I'll say Salesforce. Salesforce, comma, second parameter is null. And third parameter is null. Right. Similarly, I wanted to create another child root element within the, I need to add a child element within this first node. I need to add a child element within the first node. For that, in order to add the child element, what I'll be using is DOM.xml node, and here I'm going to add the first child equal to, I'll say here what are the first node is there. The first node dot add child element. Now what is the child element here? Child element, I'm adding the account, comma, null. So which reflect the tag which is called as a open close account. Then within this, I'm adding another child. Within the account, I'm adding the another child. So what I have written DOM.xml node. Now here I'm adding the inner child. Within the child, again one more child I'm adding, inner child, equal to, this child is for this one. First child dot add child element, and here I'm adding the name, and second parameter is null, and third parameter is null. Right, so this is how we have implemented, and finally here I have the information that I need to display the text. In order to display the text, what we have done is we have used the within this inner child, I wanted to display the text. So that means add text node. I'm adding the text node is called Bharati. Right? This is what we have implemented. And finally, in order to generate this string, we have to use the dog.toXML string. So that it will generate the XML string and it will give it to we can pass it to the string parameter. This is what we have implemented. This is a simple straightforward. This is called as a simple XML. This is called simple XML. Now, for example, instead of null, if I say instead of null, I wanted to display the package. Here, I have a third option. Third parameter is a prefix. Now, if I say here apex, I'll say here apex, and here also I'll say apex. And here also I'll say apex. Now, what will happen if I add a prefix here? If I add a prefix, what will happen? Go here, click on a preview. Did I miss anything? Or let me add only at the top level. Null. Now click on it, preview. Saving. Okay, now let's go back and check. It has some issue. Prefix cannot be specified if namespace is not specified. So I need to specify the namespace also. Along with the prefix, I need to specify the namespace. Now namespace is, let's say, force. Now here, apex colon, Salesforce, and namespaces, I have added the force. Now basically this namespace is a URL. Namespace is, you have to give the URL. Now let me give the URL here, https:/, let's say www.w3school.com. Let's save this. Now, let's copy this information, go back to the notepad. Now here, now this is the XML, and here we have apex and account, name, account is closing here, apex Salesforce is closing here. Now I have added the prefix only in the Salesforce, and it is giving me the XML as apex equal to https://w3school.com. Whatever the namespace is there, that namespace will be displayed in the XML NS, and this prefix for this tag only it will be added. Now, if I go and add here one more same prefix, let's say, it is going to give me the error. Now, similarly, I need to add it here as well. Now, if I add here as well, what will happen? Now, same thing I wanted to add below as well. Let's say, now let's copy this, go to the Notepad++. Now this is the XML apex and apex account. Then we have the apex name, closing of the name and closing of the account and closing of the Salesforce. Right, everywhere it is coming as an apex. Everywhere it is coming as an apex. If you observe this, it is similar to the, now let me give you apex colon, apex colon, let's say here I'll say page, this is has to be page. This has to be page and apex, let's say form, apex, page block, apex, and here, let's keep this name. Let's save this. Now, if you see the output, you can relate to the visual force. Whatever we are writing the logic in the visual force, you can relate to this. XML, now from here, you can relate apex page, and you have an apex form. Within that, you have an apex page block, right? And then we have an apex form and closing of apex page. Right, so this is how we can implement the XML. So if you want to send this information to third-party system, you can send this information to the, you can send this information apex colon input instead of a page block. You can say that apex colon output. Right, so this information, we can send it to the third-party system. So development is just you need to do the 4 steps. If you have a simple straightforward, Now, for example, I'll implement more inside it. So let me show you this. So basically what I wanted to implement is now employee details. Let's say that I wanted to build the employee details. So first line it will be same. First line it will be same. And then I have an employee and closer of an employee. Closer of employee, and within this, let's say I wanted to build the main, closer of a main, and then another child. In the same level, I'm going to build another child, which is a contractor and self-close. This is now within the main, I'm going to add the name here. Let's say I'm going to add some name. So what we have, I have a one parent. This is one parent. Within this, this is the first node and this is the second node, right? This is the root element. I have a root element. For this root element, there are two childs are there. This is the first node, which is called as a main, and second one is a contractor. Again, main has a name. Main has a name. So this is the root. Root is the employee. Root is the employee. So this is what I'm going to build right now. So let's go ahead and see. Right, so let me implement. This is okay. So employee, main, name, these are the things which I wanted to implement. Now similarly, I'll implement another class. That class I'm going to call from the Visual Force page. I'll be implementing another class where I'll be calling from the Visual Force page. Now let's go ahead and implement new Apex class. Now let's say that this is the XML Apex example, Apex XML. Now here, definitely I'll be calling this class from the Visual Force. So I need to have a constructor, public class name. Now within this constructor, step 1, I'll create a XML document or a space. I'll create a space for this XML document. And once this is done, step 2, first I need to create the root. Create the root. Whatever the main one is there, that is the one. Step 3. Now let's add the branches. I'll add one branch. And also within this root, I have a 2 branches. That means one is a main, second one is a contractor. Right? So step 4 is I'll add in here branch as well as I need to add 2 branches. What are those 2 branches here? Main and contractor. And step 4, I need to add a child. I need to add a child. So let's take this way. So root. So for this root, I'll be adding the 2 child elements. And for one of the child element, adding the another child or a sub-child for main child element. No. Finally, the step 5. Whatever the output is there. So I need to build the output. That means XML to string. Output in the form of XML to string. So by using the two XML string. Now these are the 5 steps which I'm going to do right now. Now let's go ahead and implement. Step 1 is dom.document equal to doc equal to, I'll initialize the new dom.document. Now this is the first step. And the second step is I need to create a root element. So for that, so in order to create a root, we have to use the XML node. We have to use the XML node. For this, I'll specify here root equal to, this root is for the document doc.create root element. I'm going to create a root element. Now this is the employee information. I'll just check the employee. And the second parameter namespace is null, prefix is null. And that's a root. And then I need to add a child elements. So in order to add the child element, dom.xml node, and I'll be adding the first child, like a child 1 equal to, for which one I'll be adding for this root, I'll be adding the child root dot add child element. Child element is a predefined method. So here within the employee, I need a name or a, let's say, name. It's a name, and the second parameter null. Third parameter is also null. This is 1. And also I'll be adding the second child, which is a child 2. And here main and contractor. No. This is done. Now fourth step is where we need to add another child within the child 1. So that means dom.xml node. Let's say this is a subchild equal to, now for which one? Child 1. Child 1 dot, I'm going to add a child name. What is the tag for my child name is, let's say it's a name. Second parameter null. Third parameter is also null. And so I have added this, and the final step is I need to convert. Now within the name, I wanted to add child element. So within the name, I'm going to put some name here. Let's say that subchild dot add text node. Add text node. So I'm going to add some text here. Rohit. Right? And then finally, I'm going to convert this into the string to XML string. This I'll be placing into the XML string. Now this XML string, I'll declare it on top because I'm going to send these details to the Visual Force. So for that, I'll be using the public string XML string set and get. Let's say this. Perfect. So whatever this is there. Now in this, I'm going to call the apex underscore XML. Now XML string. Let's save this. Now here is the output. Let me copy this. First line as it is, then employee. Within the employee, we have a name. Within the main, we have a name. And main is closed here. And contractor is self-closed. And then we have an employee. Right? So exactly the same information, whatever we were thinking about it. So this is how we build the XML and we send it to the any other system. Whoever the system wants to retrieve the data in the XML, we can build this in this structure and we can send it. Now, assignment for you, implement a visual force or let's say that create a XML doc to get following output. So you need to build the XML, implement a XML doc to get the following output in Visual Force. If you want, you can use the LWC Aura also, you can use it. That's okay. Anything you can use it. Now the output will be, now we know this, right? So we have a, like, we have Apex page. And Apex page block. And we have within this Apex page block section. So within the section, let's say that let's print some value here. Integration, let's say here Salesforce integration. And let's end the Apex colon page block section. Let's end it here. Then we are going to end the Apex colon page block. Right, so similarly, we have another section. Around, and then lightning web component. Development. Right? So this is how you need to print the output. The output has to be in this format. Now at the end, we need to close the page. This is the homework. Implement the XML doc to get the following output in the Visual Force. Now use the Apex page block section, and each page block section within that we have some kind of a name which we are displaying it. So you will get the output similar like this. You need to get the output like this. Fine. So this is how you will be getting the output. So you need to build the XML like this. Okay, so let's move on. The next one is if somebody is sending the information to Salesforce. If somebody is sending the information to Salesforce. Now, how can we receive the information and how can we convert that information into the Salesforce understandable format? Let's assume that we are receiving some XML file, like it is giving me the account name, mobile, business, some information, another account name. Within that, we have a contacts. Within that, contact first name, contact last name. Like 2 contact records are there. One contact is closed here, account is closed here, and another account within the 2 accounts. And within the second account, we have a 2 contacts. So basically the structure is, we are going to get the structure, whatever the structure you can think of. Like this is the parent, this is the root one. Within this, we have a 2 child records are within the second child record. Again, we have a 2 child records, which is a here 2 account. Within the 1 account, I have it 2 contacts are there. Similarly, another account, in another account, we have a 2 accounts are there. And out of that, 1 account, second account has a 2 contacts. Second account has a 2 contacts. And this is the data. This is how you will get it. Now, it might be differ from the developer to developer. This is not the standard XML file. They can build whatever the way they want it. They can build in the whatever the XML that their developer is thinking. They can build anything. But let's assume that something is we are receiving from the third-party system. When we receive the information, XML data from the third-party system, now how do we display it? How do we get the information and how do we display that information? How do we convert into the Salesforce understandable? So what I'm going to implement is, let's assume that I'll be providing here XML format and here I'll have a convert. When I convert it, it will convert into the Salesforce format. So here I have a convert button. Here I have a convert button. So when I click on a convert button, here it will convert into the Salesforce understandable format, like how the JSON is there, like a first name equal to Rohit or a last name equal to Salesforce, right? So whatever these understandable formats are there, so this understandable format, we can convert it. But what we are actually receiving, we are receiving something here. First node, I'm receiving it. Within that, I'm receiving the child. Within that, I'm receiving the child 2, child 1 and child 2. And within the child 2, again, I'm receiving some data. Here, I'm receiving the XML format. I'll take the XML format. I'll click on a convert. Once I click on a convert, this side, I'm going to display this. Whatever the XML format is there, I'll display in the at least understandable format. Okay, this is what I'm going to do right now. Now, let's go ahead and implement. Now, let's create a new class. Apex underscore inbound XML. Inbound XML. So this is what we are going to use this Apex class for the inbound XML. Whenever we receive any data from the third-party system related to the XML, how we are going to display the data. Now, this is I'm going to call from the Visual Force. So definitely I need to create a constructor here, public constructor. Now within this constructor, first I need to create a space, dom.document equal to POC equal to new dom.document. This is the step 1. where I'm creating DOM space. Now step 2, what are the document is there? Document, I'll take it. And here, I'm going to get the information from the third party system, right? Whenever I get an information, I can directly load that. I need not to create a root element. Create a root element is for a serializing it. Create a root element is for serializing it. Right now, what we are doing, we are deserializing it. Whenever we wanted to do the deserialize, what we can do is we can use the load whatever the XML we are receiving it. For example, from the Visual Force, I am receiving it. So public string XML string, I am receiving it from the Visual Force. So set get. Now here I am going to use the XML string. Now once I receive the data, first I need to build it. I need to get the root. From that, I need to get the root element. So in order to get the root element, I use a DOM.xml node, not the document. This time we are going to use the XML node. So for this XML node, we are going to use the root doc.get root element. Get doc.get root element. I'm going to get the root element from the message. Step 2, get root element. Now, once the root element is done, now that the same root element, I wanted to print it in the Salesforce also. First, I wanted to print the root and then I'll go for a child. Now, in order to print the root element, now I need another variable. So I'll use another variable here. What are the final output is there? Parse data. Like after deserializing it, what are the data is there? That data I'll be storing it here. So here parse data. It's not date, it's data. You can take anything here. Parse data equal to whatever the root is there. For that root, whatever the name is there, get that name. Similarly, once the root is we got the root name, then we have to go for a child. So let's say here list of, I'm getting the child details. DOM.xml node. What are the list of childs are there? Get all the childs here. So how will I get the childs? Within the root, what are the get child elements? Now this is how I'll get entire all the child's details. I'll get it. Now I'll look at each one of them. DOM.xml node, and let's say that this is the some ch::childs. Now within this, let's say that this is a child list. Now within this child list, I'll get the each child, and for each child, what are the name is there? Name and text, I'll get those information, and then I'll concatenate with the parse data. So this parse data, what are the parse data is there? I'll take that parse data equal to what are the existing parse data is there plus child dot get name. Whatever the name is there, get the name. Similarly, get the child dot get text. I'm getting the name as well as I'm getting the text. Now everything is placed into this parse data. Root name as well as the child name, and for that child name, whatever the value is there, everything is stored into the single string. Now this is I have converted and stored into the final output is stored into the parse data. Now I'll take this parse data. Let me implement a Visual Force page. Now let's say this is Visual Force page, XML underscore inbound, XML underscore inbound. Click on this. Now here we are calling the Apex. Let's take this controller equal to whatever the controller name is there, the controller name. And within that, I'm going to specify here Apex colon form. Within the form, Apex colon page block. Now I'm dividing that entire information, whatever we are receiving it from the third-party system. I'll take that entire information. Here, let's say that title equal to deserialization. Now I'm going to display the after deserialization, how the data will be displayed. So Apex colon, I'll take what are the panel grid is there, the panel grid. So I'll create a grid here, grid of column 3, because I have a 3, one is a XML input, another one is a button, and the third one is a SFDC. So I have a 3 are there. So I'll take a column, columns equal to, I'll specify 3, and width, let's specify 600. This is a panel grid. Now within this panel grid, first one is that I need a text area where I need to enter the XML information. Now Apex colon input text area. Now for this, let me add some rows. Rows equal to, I wanted to display the 10 rows. Now here columns equal to, let's say 100. And what is the value that I'm going to display here? The value in the input text is whatever the input is there. So this is the input. So whatever this I'm building it here, it is a input text from this side. I have a three are there. One is this input text and this is the another input text. Then in between that I have a convert. This is a convert. Right now, this input text area is this one, XML. Whatever the XML is there, that XML. And this side, Salesforce. Now for this, whatever the value is there, that value is XML string. Now that XML string, I'll paste it here. Now this is one panel grid. Second panel grid, which I need is button. Second panel grid, I need a button. It has curly braces, exclamation, curly braces. Okay. Next one is, now this is another one. I do not need a width. Now just a column is 1. And input text area, it's not input text area, it's a command button. Command button. Now within the command button, I just need a value. Value convert. And what action needs to be happen? Action equal to, let's say, convert me. And that's it. Now this is the one. And finally, I need another. Let me add this here. Yeah, so within this column, I have a one input text area and I have another panel grid, which is a button. And then I need to add another input text area here. Right, so another input text, this is a SFDC, Salesforce, after converting it. So after converting data, after deserialization, it will be in the parse data. It will be in the parse data. Right, that's it. Let me remove the space. Panel grid, page block, forms, page, right, done. Now let's click on review. Development organization argument 1. What is the wrong? Controller. Argument 1 cannot be null. Which argument is null here? Title, page block title, panel grid, column spread, input text area, rows, columns, value, panel grid, text area. Fine. Is there any other issue? Render. Let's save it. Now here also child dot get name, get text. Fine, click on a preview. What is the error it is giving me? Now let me comment on this entirely. From here to till the panel grid. Still it says argument controller. Everything I have removed it, but still it says that argument 1 cannot be null. Which one is? Something wrong with the Apex class? String, parse data set, get. Null pointer exception. So what I'll do is here if XML string is empty.
Oh, now we need to pass the input, right? XML string.
Yeah, but that input is, we have to pass it once the visual force is loaded. So that's the reason I'm giving here is empty. If it is not empty, then we go inside it. And you need to do all of this. If it is not empty, then only perform this. Okay, so now I can place the information, whatever the data is there. Let's copy this, paste it. Now I have the data here. So this is this side XML convert and whatever the Salesforce is there. For example, if I say here node, now this node is ending here. Now within the node, I'll say first name. First name is Melissa. Let's end the first name. And then we have a last name. Last name is colon. And the last name. Now let's click on a convert. Let me print something is happening here. Debug clear all. Okay. So node in the node. First name. And the first name. And the last name. Convert. Formula expression is required. This is first. And second time when it loaded, it did not print the information. No, I guess I knew that. So the reason is instead of a constructor, let's go here. Let's say whatever the logic we are writing it. So what is happening is we are using the constructor here, right? So when we use the constructor on load of the page, it try to get the information. But instead of a constructor, what I'll do is I'll say here void get inbound XML. Get inbound XML. Now I do not need this. And closer is also I don't need. Perfect. So this get inbound XML, I'll call from the button because when we click on the button, there is nothing is happening. When we click on the button, it is nothing is happening. Now click on this. Now let me paste. I lost it. First name, Salesforce. And then end the node here. Let's say if it is works, then I'll add more. Still it is having it. get inbound XML, get inbound XML. So what is the wrong here? Get inbound XML. Let's say convert XML. Convert XML. So while converting it, when I click on it, it will go here. Let me print the XML string. So system dot debug.
Swapna, check your action attribute. I think you're not using the colon, exclamation mark, maybe.
I'm not using the exclamation. All right. So this is also, let's say, let's go ahead and execute it. First name, Salesforce, and let's end this. Finally, I'll end the node. Click on a convert. Yes, now it is working. Okay. So let me beautify this last name. Say, let's say Melissa, colon, last name. So whenever I convert it, it is actually converting it, but everything is coming in a same line. So what I'll do is I'll divide the lines. So in order to divide the lines, I'll just add here line by. So there is a in HTML, we have a line by. So /n, that means it will go in the line by. And also here I'm going to add the colon. So this is in order to divide the line by line. Whatever the output is there, if I want the output in the line by line. Node must have a start tag. It does not have a tag.
Swapna, backward slash is missing. Input. Last name close tag was missing.
Is it backward or?
No. While passing the input, not here. While testing, closing tag is missing for last name.
Oh, okay. So click on it, convert. Now it says here, node, first name, Melissa, all this information. So basically we can convert it like whatever the format we wanted. So we can take that. So now at least a Salesforce person can understand at least Salesforce person can understand if you are printing, if you are getting any XML. Now that XML you can convert it and you can display here. In case if you do not want the node details, if you just want this information, you can comment this node one. So what are the root name I'm getting it, that root name can be commented. So if you comment the root name, you will not get the root name. You will just get the first name, last name, whatever the information is there, you will get it. So at least like this, you can understand whatever the format is there. Whatever the format is there, you can understand it. Now, whatever the here we have a contact, last name, first name, write this information. That information also you can paste it here, which can be converted in the Salesforce understandable format. So this is how we use in the Salesforce. So you need to play with the XML most of the times. Now take this as a homework, whatever the XML file is there, this XML file convert into the Salesforce understandable format. So that's all for today. So today we have discussed the serializing it, deserializing it in XML.